A pieced-together costume, a tricked-out motorcycle, and are those darts? The new Batman costume is now out there for everyone to see. In a very dramatic teaser trailer, director Matt Reeves showed off Robert Pattinson's new look as the Dark Knight. But now we can see the whole costume thanks to some sneaky photos straight from the set. These photos don't just show off Batman's new look, they also feature a retro Batcycle and some tough-looking weapons. But with Batman, the Bat gadgets are endless. So which weapons are featured on his new costume? And which of Batman's vehicles, tools, and technology are likely to make an appearance in the new film? Well, let's just say that Batman's favorite weapon in this newest movie might just be a crossbow. And that's far from the only surprise weapon Bruce Wayne has in store for us.
Where are they? Killing is making a choice.
So let's admit that Batman has a bit of a bad rap. He's often known as the superhero whose power is, well, money. It's sometimes fair to wonder, where would Batman be if he didn't have all of his cool gadgets? While television and film portrayals of the vigilante have often focused on his wide array of weapons and vehicles, Batman is much more than that. He's a detective at heart, and his fists are some of the most powerful tools he owns. So when Matt Reeves, the director of The Batman, said that he wanted to strip down the character and get down to the basics, I couldn't help but wonder which of Batman's weapons would make the cut. Well, now the Batman has painted a much clearer picture. Matt Reeves released a quick little teaser trailer featuring Robert Pattinson, who will be picking up the mantle as the newest Bruce Wayne. But that's not even the best look of the character we've had so far. Some on-set photos have been leaked that feature a Batman stunt double, riding around on a super cool motorcycle, well decked out in Batman's brand new costume, and it is amazing. The costume is more simplistic and rugged than other film versions, and it features some very specific Easter eggs, like the Bat logo, which looks like it's been made from pieces of the gun used on Bruce Wayne's parents. But the costume has some other tricks up its sleeves that offer a few hints about what kind of Bat gadgets we'll get to see in the new film. So what kind of Bat tech can we expect from the Batman? Because of Batman's stitched-together costume and retro motorcycle, it's been rumored that the Batman is taking some inspiration from the character's Zero Year comic series. It's hard to argue with that logic when you compare the character's costumes. Plus, Zero Year features an awesome Batcycle that's not too tricked out. It's kind of banged up and simple, but it definitely has the Dark Knight flair. The Batcycle in the costume is built for the jungle and steam-powered to avoid detection. We haven't seen any jungle filming going on for the Batman, but we're sure they're going to come up with a way to make it the perfect bike for Gotham. The leaked set photo features a fairly plain black bike, except for those signature bat ears. So while the bike is clearly a Batcycle, it seems like one of the character's early attempts at the design and not a super advanced model. It might not be hiding any high-powered weapons like the Batpod from the Dark Knight trilogy, but since Matt Reeves wants Batman to go back to basics, it's entirely possible he'll be relying on his feet and fists more than on vehicles and weapons anyways. Despite how awesome it is, the Batcycle hasn't been Batman's main mode of transportation in any of the character's film or television adaptations. The Batmobile is usually waiting in the wings to do the heavy lifting. But since Reeves has confirmed that the Batman will take place during just the second year of the Caped Crusader's career, it's entirely possible that the new film won't have a Batmobile at all, but it will probably feature a few other vehicles, even if none of them are as technologically advanced as the Batmobile. In fact, this Batcycle is not the only motorcycle that's been spotted on set, but it's the only one that has the Batman energy. Robert Pattinson was spotted being filmed atop another black motorcycle, except this one is even simpler and is missing the bat ears. This makes us think that Bruce might be updating his gadgets as the movie progresses. Is there any particular version of the Batcycle you'd like to see in the movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments. You really can't miss those dart-looking things on the new Batman's wrists. The design is like the rest of the suit, rough and not too fancy, maybe even a little unfinished. But looking at those arrows, you just know that they pack a mean punch. But what is Batman going to do with these handy little weapons? It looks like they could fire automatically, be loaded into some sort of gun, or maybe Batman just throws them at his enemies. They don't look seriously high-tech, but they could easily be poisonous or have some other secret impact. So it's possible that he has some pretty high-tech stuff up his sleeve, even though he's super new to the whole crime-fighting thing. Now, of course, these aren't just the only gauntlets Batman's used throughout his long comic book career. They're actually some of the tamest out there. For example, in Dark Knight's Metal No. 4, Batman even got his own kryptonite-laced Infinity Gauntlet, except DC wanted to make it a whole lot cooler than Marvel's Infinity Gauntlet, so yeah, we can't expect this type of advanced weaponry in the new movie. But it's even more exciting to be able to see what justice Batman can serve with just his fists and some little darts. Well, there are no visible weapons in these leaked photos. That doesn't mean we can't speculate. There's reason to believe that all of Batman's weapons in this new film will be classic and straight to the point. Batman Zero Year is probably the best place to look to figure out what kind of bat gadgets Bruce Wayne will be going for in this stripped down story. Matt Reeves has said that the Batman is very much a point of view driven noir Batman tale. It's told very squarely on his shoulders, and I hope it's going to be a story that will be thrilling but also emotional. It's more Batman in his detective mode than we've seen in the films. The comics have a history of that, so don't expect any insane inventions in this new movie. Batman hasn't been doing this thing for years and probably isn't sure what works best yet, but some of his best weapons are the simplest ones. So I've got a few ideas about what his choices might be for the new movie. Scott Snyder, one of the creators of Zero Year, really wanted to go with a punk rock Batman for the comic. The result? A Batman who wields a crossbow. The weapon is no joke. It's very post-apocalyptic looking, and it gives off that "don't mess with me" attitude. Batman is super comfortable with this weapon, and I wouldn't be surprised if the darts of his new costume has something to do with his penchant for projectiles. At one point in the series, he even wields a bow and arrow. But Zero Year makes sure to give the Bat a few accessories to go with his crossbow. He takes a page from Wonder Woman and uses a strong lasso to subdue his enemies. One of the most striking things about Batman's new costume is the super pointy bat ears. They're very classic Batman. And while the ears can sometimes be used to improve Batman's hearing, they're usually not used as an outright weapon. But the comics have proven that Batman's ears can be more than just showy, if that's what he really wants. They can actually be spring-loaded. In Batman and Robin number 22, the villainous White Knight ends up on the wrong end of those bat ears. Batman has no other choice but to fire the spring-loaded, pointed tips out of his cowl and right into the White Knight's head. It's not pretty, but it's effective. And since the Bat is going back to his classic detective ways, a lot of his weapons might be secretive little tricks built into his costume. Plus, using his ears as fatal weapons would be totally out of left field. I'm kind of crossing my fingers that it'll happen. Batarangs are without a doubt the most classic Batman weapon. They first appeared back in the 1939 Detective Comics number 31. So how could Reeves not include this iconic weapon in his detective-style Batman movie? These stylized throwing stars was one of the Dark Knight's very first gadgets, and it remains one of his favorites. It's not particularly high-tech or gimmicky, so it makes sense that it would be one of the first things Bruce Wayne would make to take on the role of Batman. In his second year as the Batman, he's probably already gotten pretty familiar with these beauties. Thankfully, despite being one of Batman's simplest gadgets, the Batarang is also super effective. Batman prefers to injure and not seriously hurt anyone, so the tool is usually good to knock out the bad guys. But it has a blade, so it could do a lot more than just knock someone unconscious. And the weapon lets Batman show off his ninja skills in the process, so there's really no downside. While we might not be seeing the Batman's classic Batmobile, it would be really surprising to not at least see the Batarang in the new movie. This weapon's similarity to the word bath bomb kinda makes it sound less dangerous. But don't let that fool you, because it's definitely a powerful explosive that Batman has made use of a couple of times, like in the movie Batman Begins. Since Bruce Wayne seems to have that utility belt going for him, he's going to need a few gadgets to place in there to keep his Batarangs company. What better weapon than these tiny golf ball sized explosives? The DC movies like to add a little firepower to their most epic fight scenes. Batman carrying around his little own arsenal of bombs would be pretty cool, since the hero doesn't usually carry around guns. But he's probably not advanced enough yet to have any superpowered weapons, like the kryptonite grenade launcher from Batman vs Superman. Instead, he can use these bat bombs to get himself out of tricky situations. When all else fails, he can throw out one of these classic weapons behind him and walk away from the flames like nothing ever happened. There are tons of other weapons that could make their appearance in the Batman. Some could be a little ridiculous, like the bat skates from Batman and Robin, or the bat sword from the Batman, the Brave and the Bold animated series. Others could be completely epic and almost entirely out of the question, like the Bat Tank version of the Batmobile from the Dark Knight Returns comic. But personally, I can't wait to see the Batman use some of his most powerful weapons, his fists. That's right, I want to see Robert Pattinson fist fighting the Penguin, and since Batman is going back to his basics, that really isn't out of the question. Batman will hit theaters on June 25th, 2021. It'll also star Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and Andy Serkis as Alfred, among many others. Batman isn't the only one with cool gadgets, so fingers crossed that we'll soon get to see more costumes and more cool weapons from this impressive cast of characters. But don't worry, we'll be sure to keep you updated. So what bat weapons do you want to see in the new movie? And how do you think Batman is going to use those darts on his gauntlets? Let us know your best theories in the comments, and be sure to like this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.